This is where I said the sign sat, Scenic Road and International Drive. The checkers, this is the world's largest checkers, they said it. But they had this on the side, but they took it off recently, probably in the last year. That's the world's largest McDonald's. But this goes to say that it was the same as being on 441 over the checkers itself. When I hear the reports recently saying that can't prosecute a sitting president, well, I wrote them this year while in Coleman prison in Northwest Florida, a little bit, probably about 50 miles northwest of Orlando, from 1998 to 2008. But this year, I sent him in 2003. See what it says. There was no social media. There was no YouTube, nothing like that. Just me and them. No followers. Wasn't looking for anything, just to let them know this while I was there. Because this is what I told them before I got there. This was September 11th, 1997. These words here. Pretty much they turned it around. But this is what I said to them going in. There was no plea bargain, nothing, no trying to get out of what I was supposedly charged with. Went through with it. This is what I told them. So 2003, after 1998, the conviction 1997, and then sentenced in 1998, March 12th, 1998. 5 years later, I'm sending him this. The Middle District, Florida. I'm sending him this. And this is one of the things where this was the layout of the place I was sent to. According to the diagram here, my room 100 would be here, where I stayed the whole time. And you can see how it's designed, where I talked about the pyramid itself. And I talked about the Great Pyramid. And this is Coleman, just as I mentioned here. Here. Where I talked about pyramids, but they turned it to pyramid power. Pyramid power, I'll take that. But this is what they call the PSI. That's why it's line 36 here. Then he can show you what happened after the fact.
To be outdone, ISIS brought medicine, healing, and beer brewing.
See how this matches the sign, Scenic Road, currency, International Drive, Tropical Trail at 9-4. Showing you the layout itself. Just like in Karnak. at the end of Sand Lake Road, where the signs were located at. Image of the sun. An image of the sun. And the image of the sun. The sun. Here would be the reference to bush gardens. Where else would you see a zebra? Zebras. Bush gardens. Africa. This is a bush garden itself.
The shafts. It seems that not only were these pyramids of Giza a representation of the heavenly kingdom above, but they were also the ancient Egyptians' version of a sort of Cape Canaveral, with the ability to propel the soul of a pharaoh to distant destinations in the sky. To understand why, we need to go back to the pyramid texts and the Book of the Dead. New translations of the pyramid text tell us much about how the pharaohs regarded themselves. They saw themselves as part of a direct line going back to Osiris, the first god king who founded Egypt. They were his embodiment. They were god kings, and each pharaoh attempted to reenact the life and death of Osiris. When a pharaoh died, he was mummified in the same way that Isis had reconstituted Osiris. They were then encased in a splendid outer shell to look like Osiris. This gold sarcophagus of Tutankhamun is the most magnificent example that has so far been discovered. These papyri of the Book of the Dead in the British Museum tell us of one of the great ascension rituals that would have followed the preparation of the mummy. This was known as the opening of the mouth ceremony. His consort and his still mortal son must cause new life to stir in him. This had to be done at an exact moment, the dawn rising of Orion. The pharaoh must be reborn as a god. Though Vall and Gilbert imagined this most dramatic and ceremonial moment could well have taken place in the Queen's chamber. The son and wife of the dead pharaoh performed this ceremony with an adze in the shape of the little bear. This was often made of iron taken from fallen meteorites. At that time, this was their only source of iron. Every now and then, they saw these meteorites come thundering down through the sky, and to them it was real evidence that the star world existed. This strange iron substance that occurred nowhere on Earth they thought was a dribble of semen from the gods, and this led them to think that the gods had iron bones as well.
But who can imagine?
To the crown again. Here you see the crown, and you see the dome shape. And what's it say? the earliest shape thus, which is the dome shape of a crown, showing the 5 domes that sit on top of Helios Grand. It whether to say that it's coming out of.
Understand its significance, Boval looked for a wider plan. He started with Egypt's most obvious feature, the Nile. He looked at where the pyramids were in relationship to the Nile and the angle they made with it, and compared them with the position of Orion's belt in relation to the Milky Way. It then occurred to Boval to look at the other 2 existing pyramids of the 4th dynasty, which were built for unknown reasons some miles away from Giza. Boval discovered from original graffiti that the first one at Abu Rawash, built by Jedafra, a son of Khufnu, was also named after a star. The second one was built 3 miles from Giza at Zawiyat al-Aryan. He then looked at the overall pattern and was staggered. Osiris was the constellation of Orion. Therefore, Osiris on Earth was the pyramids of the Giza area. The Egyptians were attempting to build no less than heaven on Earth.
Where was checkers invented? Checkers, also known as draughts, has a rich history that spans centuries. Its origins can be traced back to ancient times. The earliest known version of the game was found in an archaeological dig in Egypt. This version dates back to around 3000 BC.
So you hear this crown here, crown point, where it said Kingspoint creates a Uraeus. Both entrances all the way around. And this here, you see the crown created by the triangles creating the crown itself. But you see the center one is taller. The 2 ones on the outside, which goes here. This here. This is what this is here. The teeth. That's what it represents. Their teeth. It sits center of the layout, the Great Pyramid layout that sat here, center here. One end would be currency. This would be money area, red bulk, tropical trail. This here would be International Drive, Sonic Road. Here. And in the center here would be where this is at right now. Created the Uraeus. But this is the Atef. There's the other entrance here. 2 on each side. 1 on each side. The double crowns. On the entrances. Double crown, the teeth. Going back to the billboard sign over the checkers, showing you that the crown itself represents, like saying, a checker piece. Just as the Sun Trust building has the pyramids on top, a checker piece, showing that's a chess piece itself. A checkerboard. Commerce itself is dealing with money, commercial, business, showing us the pyramid on the dollar bill, where I said I'm Osiris on the dollar. That's what that's representing right here. So people can say things, that's all they can do, versus showing you what's been said here. how you see the crown. It's created where the middle is taller than the end. Both ends. That's their teeth. That's what that's representing. And how strange, out of ordinary, can't believe it. It makes no difference. People believe in stuff they've never seen before, never experienced, heard it from somewhere else, that's heard it from somewhere else, and then you want people to believe it, but never show them a damn thing. But then here it is, somebody can show you something, and then you take it as skeptical. To be skeptical. Keep being skeptical. If the proof doesn't prove anything, then what the hell are you doing? From the bottom of the Uraeus to the top of the Uraeus. I was on top of that building right there, showing you before this even existed. It's high noon right now. In the Uraeus, right here, showing you here, the two kings, crown points here, up through Uraeus here, standing Uraeus here. Now,
Here, speaking about the crown, the triangle, showing you the same as you see crown point. How you see the top, the bottom half, the top half. So the top half showing you that it's saying that it's the South Pole. This is showing you the bottom half is talking about Horus, but it's the same crown. You put this one on top of this one. This is what you get, the same opposite. What you have a crown point here, and what it says here. Sacred symbol, because the pyramid was typically the pyramid of heaven. Kingdom come. The triangle, typical of heaven here, which what you see today. Which when I showed this in 2003, I hadn't seen Crown Point, Kingspoint Boulevard. I wouldn't see it till after 2008. I sent this in 2003. The Middle District. And it speaks here. This is the origin of the eternal crown. Here. This is why the Sun Trust building is a crown. That's Crown Point. The Atef crown. This is what the Sun Trust building is here. It's coming forth by day, going forth by night. People can talk about what they believe in, but they can't show anything. I'm showing you this. I showed this before I sent this to court. They sent it back as a with prejudice itself, but that didn't mean anything to me. I'm glad they sent this back because I only sent them one copy. But this is what they got. They already know. As you can see, Ra and Osiris. That's what you see here in Orlando. That's what the face appeared. The image of the face. Here, what it says about the crown. The crown is a symbol of the 33rd degree, the highest we have. And because of the importance, we have taken up some considerable trouble in searching the records of the past to find why the Egyptians attached great importance to it and from when hence they took the origin. This is why Crown Point sits there. It's all connected. You see it.
So here, sun disk fronts entrance of Mall at Millennium. Dropped the two L's because they didn't have two L's didn't exist back then. So Mall at, you have my at, M-A-A-T. Drop the two L's. Mall at Millennium. Under here is the sun disk itself. So here you have the day coming forth by day. Here. This is coming forth by night. Stars. So here in the mall you have coming forth by day, the sun at night, coming forth by night, and going forth by night here. Mayat. Here. Showing you this representing night itself. The 9 triangle here. And the reason why there's the triangle because it's representing the positions of the billboards sat that created the Stargate. That's why you see 3 sides. Same as there's 3 poles on the sun disk itself. You'll see 3 poles because it represents the poles where the sign sat, the gold face, the Osiris face sat. 1996, before this was built, next door. But this energy comes back from Karnak. You believe it or not. That's why you see the 3 showing the tetrahedron. We're just talking about the 3 sides. Those 3 signs. 1996. The energy exists. That's what created this. Impossible. The magic. You have 9 here. The same way in the front. When you look at the lights that come out on each side of the obelisk or the sun disk itself, you'll see 9 strings of light on each side, creating 27 strings of light. That is creating the sun ray. So you have 9 strings of light on the sun disk coming down to each side, and then hit back here, you have 9. Back here. So 9 in front, 9 in the back. They'll never get it. Go on to the Enoch. This is said in the book, Stargate Conspiracy 174. People never get it. You'll see the eyes. It's talking about coming forth by day, going forth by night. Pyramid text itself also. People looking for one thing, told one story, and there's another story that actually was here the whole time. I don't want you to know that. Stay deaf, dumb, and blind to the truth. As the eye said, the eye itself, all seeing eye. It's on the dollar. Just as you see it here. I said the 3 sides created a pole. The 3 poles where the billboard sat in 1996. Where one of the houses went inside of the Great Pyramid, just as it's shown here, with the 5 black triangles, with the larger one sitting on top of the larger one, which stands for the way it went inside of the layout of the Great Pyramid. Top one is 638 West Anderson Street. The second one is 5301 Snowflake. The third one is 5312. The fourth one is 5320. And the other is 4411 Elderberry. That's what this represents here. That's why you have the 3 sides on the triangles where the stars are at, and then the sun has the 3 poles. Because it's talking about the 3 billboard signs. Here. And that's where the houses were at, next to this place, before this place was built. And there's the mall next to it. That's what it comes to. Exactly north. That's why you see this floor itself, the checkered floor on the bottom. Just as if you're in a lodge, you're seeing a lodge, that black and white checkered floor. But this is the bottom, this is the step, because this mall represents a man. The top, with the stars, Macy's. Here, Bloomingdale, which is in New York. Here, you'll see the bottom of the floor. This is Checkers, with a billboard sign over at Checkers. That's why I said the SunTrust building downtown, a checker piece, or basically it would be a chess piece, a king. It might sound strange, crazy, out of ordinary, impossible, not so, say it ain't so, but it is what it is. Take it or leave it. I know what this mall is. It's like you see the wormhole itself. Traveling. People come here, all they see is money. That's what they think this is. There's a triangle right there across on the other side. Showing you how it traveled over the top of the roof of the house. That's why it's centered from the beginning in the middle. It's showing you from both sides when the object came down over the center, went over the center of the house. That's what this is here. Not how strange, out of ordinary, impossible, can't be. This is what it is. That's why you can see the wormhole look. And the house that went over was 5320, which is what I saw at the corner of my eye. There's the eye in Orion, and you see just up to the waist. Where if you look at the yard perimeter, 5320, you get the bottom of the Orion, same as that is right there. That's where the object went over. The house with the yard that is shaped like the lower part of the Orion. That's why that's only showing the waist. Just as in a great year, you see all these poles representing the zodiac constellations going into the millennium, 25,000 year, the great year. Here. But it's all covered up by a story, a fairy tale that they tell people to believe in something, but then they tell you a lie, to believe the lie openly and embrace it. But then expect to believe the truth or believe the truth. You should never believe the truth. You should know the truth. Believing is unsure. So going forth by night. Triangle, the 9 triangles showing you sunrise, high noon, sunset. Coming forth by day, going forth by night. Sunrise, high noon, sunset. You're here to see the Coleman layout. This is what I put in, what I sent them in 2003. Coleman layout. Sunrise, high noon, sunset. The Orion layout. Christmas tree representing the celebration of the sun. Just give people a reason to shop, to buy, to celebrate. And whatever you tell them, they'll go for it. So call it the birth of Jesus, just to satisfy them. They go for it. Showing the constellations of each pole. Representing the great year, 25,920 years. Yeah, showing you here. Coming forth by day, going forth by night. Day, front, and the night, and the rear. That's what this mall is. Coming forth by day, going forth by night. Just want to talk about the woke. The wokest. I say I'm the wokest. Take it as you want it to. This is what it is. This mall represents the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead. Coming forth by day, going forth by night. Another thing, basically, when you look at the triangle, not only does it represent the position of the 3 poles that were Currency and Scenic Road International Drive, and I-4 and Tropical Trail, now Red Block, but also in the center of that, or inside, you see these trees. Citrus trees, oranges, lemons, whatever they want to call them. Well, when I got the house that sits inside of that layout back in 1990, the yard was full of citrus trees, oranges, so many that used to give them away. So this is a reminder that inside of that triangle was a house with citrus trees, oranges, grapefruits, tangerines. In the backyard and front. So inside of that triangle that represents the three layout to where the billboards are at was a house with citrus trees like this here. The same as you see the top. Just so you see the top of the triangle with the pyramid is the house, the same house. The citrus trees, yeah. Just so the same as the black triangle sits on top of the triangle layout on the stairway that represents the same house that these citrus trees represent on top, because they both go inside of the layout of the triangle. No matter how strange, out of the ordinary, impossible, can't be, say it ain't so, this is what it is. Just as this here is the floor, is the shape of the Coleman. You see the angle in the end. Showing here. To the top. Showing you here the same angle. Coming forth by day, coming forth by night.
December 25th was originally a holiday dedicated to the invincible sun, related to the winter solstice in Rome. This celebration was Christianized, decreeing that that day would commemorate the birth of the only Son of Justice, Christ. Likewise, indulgences were established.
Helios Grand, representing Helios, the sun itself, traveling from sunrise to sunset. Then we have Luna Terra, the moon. Then we have Stella Nova, the stars. So we have the sun, the moon, and the stars. We have day and night, which goes back to coming forth by day, going forth by night, showing Orlando itself. Same as in the Mall of Millennia. The front entrance is showing you the sun, the day. The back is showing you the stars with the blue ground, the background, showing you the night, showing you the day and night, coming forth by day, going forth by night. Showing you here, both coming out of the layout of the Great Pyramid, what you call the Pyramid Text or the Book of the Living. Here, in Orlando, Sun Trust 441 feet with the crown. Same as Crown Point, the 5-point crown. Showing you the pyramid itself. The pyramid triangle representing heaven itself. The 3-point, like he would say, the Trinity itself. But here, coming forth by day, going forth by night.
To the crown again. Here you see the crown, and you see the dome shape. And what's it say? The earliest shape thus, which is the dome shape of a crown, showing you the 5 domes that sit on top of Helios Grand. And where does it say that it's coming out of?
Helios, see the 5 domes. They represent the meaning of heaven and earth, sky and the earth. 5. Same as domes saying the capital, the Vatican. Or I said the Vatican itself has the obelisk, the sun disk, the obelisk itself, center, St. Peter's Square. Universal means Catholic means universal. Sean is going back to what I told him back in 2011. Go into the energy of the Stargate itself. The triangles that create the crown represent heaven also. The triangle itself. Next to Lockheed Martin, Area 51 that I marked off here in 2016. It's Area 51. Before this was even mentioned, as they were going to build this epic universe, the Stargate. This is the epic right here. The story itself. Since 1996. Going back to West Babylon, New York, where you might have seen the Commander Avenue, George Washington, and the symbol at West Babylon School as the eagle, the screaming eagle, the dollar itself. George Washington, the eagle, and the pyramid on the dollar bill. Connecting it to 684 to the obelisk in Manhattan, the three of them. The same way the three houses on Snowflake Court. 5320, 5312, and 5301 create the Orion that was there before the Mall of Millennia was built in 2001. Going back from 1989 to 1995. It's all here, Orlando itself. Coming forth by day, going forth by night. Sunlight Path, it's all here. Sun Trust, 441 feet. The Crown, that's what it is, Orlando. People would say, oh, what has it got to do with Egypt, or what is it? It's dealing with the sun. The same way Christianity had nothing to do with the New World, because that's why it was the New World, because it was never mentioned in the Bible. So now when somebody says this, you want to question it as being, what does it got to do with that? When this, what you say is people try to put something that had nothing to do with this here. The New World means you have something new itself. It was never mentioned. It was unfound. People try to make it fit, but that's not what it was. The sun is everywhere. It's been over here. Whether you're in Mexico with the Aztecs, the Mayans, they all knew this. They all knew this. This here, Orlando, the Kingdom of the Sun. Florida, 1513. Easter Sunday. That's the name when they named Florida. Ponce de Leon. It's all connected. Going back to the sun. The sun, the moon, and the stars.
To understand the meaning of the word Catholic and its origin. The term Catholic comes from the Greek katholikos, which means universal or total. That is, something that encompasses everyone without exclusions. In its earliest uses within Christianity, this term did not have the connotation of a specific religious denomination as we understand it today, but rather it referred to the universal church, or the universal Christian community. That is, to the church that extended to all peoples and nations, regardless of their origin, culture, or language. In its early days, the term Catholic was used to describe the inclusive and all-encompassing nature of early Christianity.
Egypt's most powerful gods, Isis and Osiris, appear throughout funerary texts and art. King Tut's iconic death mask bears Osiris's likeness, while symbols of Isis are
A situation where an idea sparked in the mind of some great architect priest. There must have been a very powerful motive behind this idea. You don't start a construction plan raising monuments to heights of 100 meters without being very motivated.
In order to find more clues to the mystery of why they were so motivated, it's necessary to look at the whole area. Egypt is normally seen like this, with north at the top. The ancient Egyptians, however, made their maps facing south. Their whole world view faced south, and the stars that reached the height of their arch through the sky due south was their directional benchmark. The fertile delta known as Lower Egypt, where the Nile flows into the Mediterranean, is thus at the bottom, and the long, narrow Middle Nile, known as Upper Egypt, is at the top. The three great pyramids at Giza, built by the pharaohs Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaura, are therefore here, and we're going to examine the first and largest of them, Khufu's Great Pyramid.
Another thing, basically, when you look at the triangle, not only does it represent the position of the three poles that were currency and Scenic Road International Drive, and I-4 and Tropical Trail, now Red Block, but also in the center of that, or inside, you see these trees, citrus trees, oranges, lemons, whatever they want to call them. Well, when I got the house that sits inside of that layout back in 1990, the yard was full of citrus trees, oranges, so many that used to give them away. So this is a reminder that inside of that triangle was a house with citrus trees, oranges, grapefruits, tangerines in the backyard and front. So inside of that triangle that represents the three layout to where the billboards are at was a house with citrus trees like this here. The same as you see the top. Just as you see the top of the triangle, the pyramid is the house, the same house. The citrus trees, yeah. Just so the same as the black triangle sits on top of the triangle layout on the stairway that represents the same house that these citrus trees represent on top, because they both go inside of the layout of the triangle. No matter how strange, out of the ordinary, impossible, can't be, say it ain't so, this is what it is. Just as this here is the floor, is the shape of the Coleman. You see the angle in the end. Shown here. To the top. Showing you here the same angle. Coming forth by day, coming forth by night.